Welcome to the fourth talk on this topic. And I'm recognizing that it's a very big and a very vast topic, and we are just touching on the surface of it. But even if you make this beginning, you will realize how much power you have and how much can you increase the joy of living by increasing your own personal power, by feeling more in control from the inside rather than from the outside. And therefore, we began with talking about what does warrior really mean, and what does it mean to have your personal power, to recognize your power, and see what takes it away. And one of the things that is really something that takes away your power is codependence. It's a very vast topic. I might do another series only on codependence, but right now I just want us to start exploring what is this codependence and how does it play out. So one of the ways in which codependence plays out is how much we want other people to be responsible for our health and happiness. So we say, oh, only if this person changes, only if that person behaves properly, only if this person reciprocates my love the way I want. And that is the beginning of codependence. In its worst form, it is making your life revolve around one person. And then in some shorter, lesser effective forms, is depending on your friends, on your family members, on your co workers, for your own growth, for your own success, and for your happiness. I'm not talking about legitimate dependency. For example, if I want somebody to take me to a doctor because I'm not well, now that is a legitimate dependency. I can't go on my own, therefore, I'm requesting somebody. That is the way we live in society, by being dependent on each other. But when we begin to be dependent on somebody else for what we can do, and what is within our power and for our happiness, that is where the problem is. And it really takes away your power, because the minute the person doesn't behave the way you want him or her to behave, you are going to feel miserable and sad and bad about it, and you are going to impact your own health. And therefore I want to just in short 10 minutes just introduce this topic of codependency, tell you how to overcome it, and leave it at that. Because for a warrior is both dependent and independent. A warrior is dependent on people for arms, is dependent on if he's a soldier, or is dependent on instructions from strategic people, is dependent on doctors when it gets wounded, and so on, is dependent upon peace negotiators so that the war doesn't happen at all, and so on. The inner warrior also is similarly dependent on all of this. But can the inner warrior be independent in terms of how it takes charge to ensure our own happiness, is what we are looking at. So in very brief, I would like to introduce to you this topic of codependence. So codependence is an emotional, psychological, and behavioral condition that develops as a result of an individual's prolonged exposure to and practice of a set of very oppressive rules which prevent an open expression of feelings. So, therefore, what this individual starts doing is let other person's behavior affect him or her, and who is obsessed with controlling the other person's behavior. Because if my happiness is going to depend on you, then I'm going to try controlling how you behave. I'm going to say, okay, if you behave like this, only then you are my friend. If you help me in this, only then you are my friend. If you remember my birthday, only then you care about me, and so on and so forth. So therefore, what does one do to overcome this? Okay, and I will also, as I'm telling you what does one do to overcome this, I'm also telling you how to come out of what we call as codependence. So working with codependence means that I'm going to start validating myself. I don't want need somebody else to tell me if I'm good enough. if I can do something or cannot do something. I will not look for other people's approval. Because when I look for other people's approval, then I modify the behavior to get that approval. And those behaviors may not be good for me. Second is I will not attach to outcomes. What happens in codependency is that if I am working hard to achieve something, I'm constantly looking at the outcome. So if I've tried to please someone and that person is not pleased, I'm going to want that person to please and I'm going to try all kinds of things. I may play the victim, I may unnecessarily give too much, I may allow the person to violate boundaries, I may not. So when I attach to outcomes, I'm placing my happiness, my next steps, my motivation, my optimism to outcomes. If you remember, we also talked during when we were talking about power that when I play the victim, I'm not, I will say that, you know what, I can't help it. I'm not getting the results, so I'm not good enough, and therefore I'm not going to take small actions. And then I keep playing that. But if I attach to the efforts, to what I'm doing, how much I'm doing, then it is easier for me to appreciate myself as well as appreciate others. People do a lot for us. Maybe the outcome, well, maybe it is not enough. Maybe the outcome is not what we wanted. Maybe we didn't feel happy even though the other person decided to spend 2 hours with us. But can we start looking at the efforts that we make, I make, as well as other people make, so that we are able to claim back what is it that we are contributing rather than looking at what happened in the end. The third is I will accept that other people are not in this earth to make me happy or make me feel worthy. That is my job. The more I do that, the more responsibility I take for my own happiness. And therefore, I am able to work through codependence. As I said before, codependence or losing of power happens because maybe some childhood experiences. Yeah? uh, every time I did something, I was criticized. If that has happened, then today, every time somebody criticizes, I get angry. And every time somebody appreciates, I don't take the appreciation. And I'm constantly criticizing others because that's the only thing I know. Once I start recognizing that other people will behave the way they will behave, and they are not responsible for my happiness, then I will be able to build the capacity to express how I feel and also take responsibility for my own happiness. I will remember to hold on to myself and to give myself time to calm down before I react to a situation. What will start happening once we do these affirmations, once we keep this in mind, we will not react so easily. When we don't react so easily, we will be able to focus on ourselves. We can become more self aware of what in it is causing problems for us. We can express our needs better, we can express our emotions better, and that will make us be in charge of the situation better. Fifth is I will find ways to let go of my attachment to others and I will seek joyful experiences I can enjoy on my own. When we wait for somebody, and if that person doesn't come up when we need them or is not available, we limit our our right and independence to enjoy us. So, for example, if we believe that somebody close to me is ill and therefore I can't go out, we actually burden ourselves, we become resentful. We also blame the other person for not being well. I'm not saying we do it consciously, but subconsciously we are saying, oh, I'm not happy because the other person is unwell or because the other person is in trouble. But what if we are able to think through saying, okay, I'm going to be available for this person, but I'm also going to take care of myself and I'm going to find ways and means of feeling happy. Then we can become more free from other people and claim our own power. We can still connect to others in more healthy and happier ways without being codependent and without needing to control other people and other situations. And the last one is that I will pay more attention to what I want than what I don't want. And this is something which has personally also helped me. When I started focusing on what I want, I didn't have to fight so much. The warrior in me became more strategic. I started expressing what I needed in that situation. What I don't want is all right, but when I focus on what I don't want, I come up in my come up in arms, and I start making it a fight. Start pushing things that requires more energy. Whereas if I start focusing on what I want, then I focus my energy on getting what I want, and automatically what I don't want drops away. And be grateful for what I have instead of focusing on what has yet to arrive in my experience. So the more I experience what I have, the more independent, confident I become. The more I realize what is it that I can achieve on my own or through the help of some people. And therefore I become more stronger to get what I want in the future. And that is the way in which we expand ourselves. This was very short uh, introduction to codependency. Why is codependency important in terms of warrior? A warrior definitely needs power, and the warrior needs to believe in himself or herself and influence others wherever other people are required. And therefore, codependency is like taking away the warrior's freedom. The less codependent you are, the more freedom the warrior experiences, more power the warrior expresses. Beside these two, to be successful, to be happy, and to be healthy, the warrior also requires self care and it also requires clarity, which is the topic of the next two videos. Please do let me know how you found this video. Write to me on sanjotp@gmail.com. Thank you.
Help Talks are daily health related talks held at Health Education Library for People, Mumbai, India. For more information visit www.healthlibrary.com. Subscribe to Help Talks channel. Be better informed about your health.